Dudes and dudettes, welcome to another surfing show. Yes, I am your host, Crazy Aaron Spademaster, and today we're doing all things radical, especially tubuloso, tubular, and smoking hot O-rings. Wait, not O-rings, the tube things that the waves make when they crash. I'm gonna teach you how to ride and gleam the cube, man.
Oh,
yeah,
man.
totally.
So this is like a place to talk about surfing, man?
No.
Oh.
No, those were all terms of baking. And we are going to learn how to bake cakes. I don't know where you got that impression from, sir.
Radical cakes?
Tubuloso cakes, dude. And occasionally we'll talk about Ninja Turtles.
Welcome, everybody, to another episode where we are going to talk about all things how to not die at work. We are the Evil Safety Dudes. I had to give you just a minute there. I had a little pause for you.
Yeah, I got to get ready to say evil.
Got to be ready to shout it with gusto. You got to put a little gusto in the evil.
You know, it's been a long time since we explained why we're the Evil Safety Dudes.
I feel like people get it, but, we can explain it.
Okay, let's do it. We are evil, but not really.
No.
We're not. We're the opposite of evil.
We don't want you to die.
Yeah, we're like the
We
little
want you to be safe.
angel, the good angel on your shoulders. It's like, don't take that guard off the grinder, Jimmy. We're like that
They're
guy.
not going to listen to me anymore, Aaron. Like, how dare you're making me look worse.
We're like that little angel that says, tie off, Jimmy.
Don't
lean over the edge. Don't lean over the guardrail. We're like, we're like the voice inside your head that tells you to do things right
Not
and
do
safe.
that stupid thing right before you do it.
But in the people's minds, the workers that were going around and be like, dude, put your safety glasses on. Dude, come on, man.
Right.
Put your face shield on when you're grinding, man.
Yeah.
To
I'm the
them,
person walking onto like this construction worker's job site who knows more than I do, and I'm going to tell him what to do.
yeah, so to them, we're the bad guy because
Yeah.
we're like, how you're doing this is wrong, and you could actually get in trouble. It's against the rule, and we're here to enforce that rule.
Right.
We need you to do it this way. So in their mind, we're just
We're evil.
evil.
Yeah, we're evil.
But we're not,
Right.
really.
We really don't want people to get hurt or die at work unreasonably or unnecessarily because, quite honest, guys, at the end of the job, it's still going to get done. The structure will still get completed. The task that you're trying to get done, the light bulbs will still get changed. It'll get done.
You'll never walk again, but that place will be open for business, and they won't even have a plaque of your sacrifice you made to build it.
Right, yeah, those extra 20 minutes you saved, good job. Now you don't have thumbs.
Yeah.
And we're evil. We're the bad guys for that.
Yeah, but that's why we're called the Evil Safety Dudes.
It's
All
frustrating.
right, so what's this specific episode on?
Surfing down.
Yeah.
Hitting the waves.
Yeah.
Crushing some gnarly surf, brah. That's what we're doing today, right? Yeah.
I left Southern California in 1997.
And Southern California never left you.
Well, no, it
Good
did,
buddy.
because my surfing accent was terrible. I used to be able to do that so good when I was younger. I had several friends that's how they talked, and it was
the life, man.
That was like how a
what you're doing,
Midwest
brah.
person now does a surfing accent.
Well,
it was terrible.
It was 20 plus years ago.
I'm upset with myself.
Yeah. See, I'm glad I lost the long O. I came from
There you
Rapid
go,
City,
eh?
and a lot of the people I hung out with, it was, yeah.
Dude.
You talk about a boat,
I used, all my friends had a surfing accent or a straight up vato gangster accent, and I
And
used
there
to
was
be
no
able to
in between.
do both very well.
Now
I could go straight into vato easy, but I wonder if I still could. But see, like nowadays you can't.
No, you're not allowed.
Yeah, I'm not allowed to
No,
do
that-
that because
that's- yeah.
I'll be somehow bad if I do that.
And we don't want to be bad. We want to be evil.
Yeah. So let's get evil.
Yeah,
Let's
so
get
today,
medieval up in here.
Aaron, from what I understood, we are actually covering machine guarding today.
Yeah, and I'm covering this topic with my co-host, Mr. AJ Hanscom, and he is an authorized OSHA outreach instructor and an SSH. He has both in the general industry and construction, and he has taught machine guarding courses and done audits on machines and written machine-specific lockout tagout procedures that dealt with the guards.
So many.
And so he is a subject matter expert on machine guarding.
Thank you.
Now, AJ,
Yes, sir.
when you were 7,
Okay.
and they were like, "Hi, little AJ.
Oh.
What do you want to be when you grow up?"
People don't talk to
You
me
were
like
like, "I want to be a machine guarding subject matter expert." Huh? Huh. Just admit it.
For
Just
sure.
admit it.
I think when I was 7, I still really wanted to be a fighter pilot. I loved airplanes.
That's cool.
Yeah, that dream got crushed pretty hardcore.
Yeah, I was
bad.
a weirdo.
I have terrible eyes.
I wanted
They were
to
like,
be
"No."
a poet
Okay.
and
When you were 7,
a pro football player.
at the same time.
Yeah. But I grew up as a songwriting
There you go.
kickboxer.
First, I'm going to wreck you on the field,
So
and then I'm going to wreck your feelings.
it's close.
I like it.
And,
Well, so
anyway.
I'm joined in the IBC Podcast Fort Studio with Mr. Aaron Iacino, who is also a OSHA authorized outreach instructor and specialist in safety and health in the general industry and construction. And he knows a thing or two about machine guarding.
Yes, I know that they guard parts that could hurt you.
Well, so for me, machine guards are the people who stand next to machines
And
with
guard them.
the big, tall, black, fuzzy
and
hats.
make sure you don't throw wrenches in them.
Yeah, that's what they do.
Yeah,
and
totally.
they don't move if you mess with
Yeah.
them. But if you mess with their machine, oh man,
Yeah.
they prepare for the
They're
combat of a
the
lifetime.
machine sentries. The machine guards.
Can we do that? Like, can we start our own business? We have the machine
We'll
guards.
guard your machine.
That's right.
During COVID,
I'm on board,
there
man.
was new professions made. We know a guy who's a safety guy,
We do know a guy, at least one.
but he got a job not doing safety.
Okay.
He took a temporary job enforcing COVID rules in plants.
Oh snap!
They hired several, not just one.
But like that was
Like
his
10,
focus.
20 people. You got to walk. Hey, you're 5.5 feet away. You must be 6 foot from that person.
Oh, making sure all your like
Hey,
face guarding and
put
stuff
that
is
face
down.
mask up
Yeah.
over your nose. He talked
Dang.
just like that too. No, just kidding. But that's actually what he did. He was a safety guy, and it was still safety, health and safety. COVID stuff. But yeah, so there was new trades invented during that time.
I mean, it makes sense though. Makes plenty of sense.
Yeah.
Had a need, man, hire somebody to do that need.
So what's been new with you since we last podcasted?
Not much. Lifting more, painting more. It's really nice out. We've been actually, there is one little thing is we just finished laying down some really nice rock out in front of my house. So
That's
a little
cool.
bit of landscaping got done, and I really like it. Came out really great.
That's nice.
Yeah. How about you? Is there anything new or fresh?
I got
or
my
funky?
fireplace serviced.
Your fireplace?
Yeah, so we bought the house a while ago.
Yep.
Never used a fireplace because, I'm a safety guy.
Well,
So I'm not just
what kind of
gonna-
fireplace?
A wood burning fireplace.
Nice.
So I'm not just going to start a fire in an unknown fireplace.
Right. Yeah, you got to get it checked
It
out.
could be blocked. It could be corroded.
Could be animal nests
the
in it.
lining. Yeah, and I could just bad.
Yeah.
Safety professional Aaron Iacino was killed in his house from starting a fire.
Not
on
very safe, was
Tuesday
he?
night.
Everybody forever. Instead of like mourning your death, we'd be like, "Wow,
What a hypocrite!
hack.
I can't believe I listened to that.
Yeah, that
idiot.
guy maybe put safety glasses on and then burned his own house down. Ugh. No, that's a good call, man. So you
So-
wanted to use it.
And so I hired a professional.
Nice.
And so,
They dangled somebody from the top and held him by his ankles.
well, what
and
was
lowered
crazy?
him in.
So this guy shows up.
Okay.
His truck rolls into my driveway. He's got ladders on there and all that. And the kids are like, "Who's this?" And I go, "Oh, it's probably the chimney dude.
That chimney
the
dude.
evil chimney dude."
Evil chimney dude.
And this guy rolls up that I know, that I trained, that I've trained for years at a company.
Awesome.
One of our main clients. This guy walks up, and I'm like, "You're not the chimney guy, are you?" He's like, "Yeah."
Yeah. Like you're supposed to know that. Yeah. Duh, Aaron.
And,
I'm the chimney guy. Hello.
So I'm like, "What's up? Remember me? I'm the evil safety dude." I didn't say that. I said, "Remember me? I'm the safety trainer guy." He's like, "Yeah, I know you, Aaron.
Awesome.
I've been tortured by your safety programs for years. I know
yeah.
you."
It's torturous.
So I was like, "Cool, let's get started." So I think that was like nerve-wracking for him because
Yeah.
like he was like explaining to me like everything he was doing, like echoing back my safety training over
I
the
do
years to him.
this so that
It was
doesn't
it was
happen.
really kind of annoying but nice at the same time. Like, oh, this guy listens because like he just went on about his cell phone. He's like, "I actually don't have my cell phone on when I'm working because I don't want the distractions." Because I had taught them about situational awareness
Oh, sure,
and
sure.
distractions being a cause of injuries and all this. And this guy's like listening and he's like trying to throw it all back at me. And I'm like,
That's so cool.
just clean the chimney, man. Like,
Oh, that's so funny.
You know, and so yeah, to go on my roof
Just
and
clean the
stuff.
chimney, man.
Yeah, I'm like, don't, but it was weird. So,
That's awesome.
it's summer, so
Yeah.
I'm obviously not going to fire it up anytime soon. But,
No.
come fall, man, we're going to test that bad boy out.
Yeah, you got a ways to go, but
Yeah, which is cool.
That's
it just
awesome.
makes me feel good. You never know. Like, I'm too broke to be a prepper, but if I was rich, I'd be a prepper.
oh heck yeah.
And that's like one of the things to me that makes me feel a little better.
So
that
much more independent.
if heat is gone, like I can just burn stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
100%.
So that's what I did.
I like
but
it.
let's jump into the show now.
Doing some machine guarding.
Have we had an OSHA case recently on machine guarding? I can think of one.
I was actually just gonna say, yeah, we just had that one out at that plant. That person reached past the machine guarding and got sucked in.
Yeah.
And then that one ended up. This has been a hairball for us. Like, it's still up in the air as far as I know. Last I heard,
No,
like a
I
month
got
ago,
that one abated. That one's done.
That one's done.
It finally got
Because that was
done.
up in the air for a long time.
That was a terrible, terrible experience.
Oh, you went full Charles Barkley on me. That was
Uh,
terrible
It was a terrible,
experience.
terrible experience. But it's finally over.
Oh man, because we were even like looking in the regs. We were looking in their handbook to see like,
The field operations manual.
yeah,
reference
when does this
manual.
have to be over, man?
For those of you guys who don't know, what happened was this guy. I'm gonna get in trouble, but this guy looked like I don't know if I should.
Nobody knows who he is.
All right, cool. But maybe the parameters of the case, people will figure out. This
Yeah,
guy
so
will
maybe
figure out who I'm talking
We
about.
shouldn't describe the guy.
But yeah, but I'm doing it anyway.
Okay.
So
Oh, you're talking about the
He-
OSHA guy.
the OSHA guy,
Yeah, that was actually pretty funny.
he looked like Napoleon Dynamite,
Yeah. Slanky, huge hair,
young,
young,
young.
big old afro.
Like, so we have Gen X, then we have Zennials, and then we have Millennials, and then we have Gen Z.
Yeah.
He was like Gen Z,
Oh,
like the
man.
one under you.
So he's like, well, no, I'm a Zennial.
He's Z, so he's the one under you.
He's probably like super duper. Oh yeah, so he'd be. Like, I'm
So
guessing
20s,
I'm guessing the guy's more than
because
10
you're in
years.
your 30s.
Yeah.
He was in his 20s.
I'm guessing he's 10 years younger than me.
Yeah, he's probably. That's the way he looked anyway. So he was not super experienced, and it might have been his first case.
Of course.
But what was terrible about it was he went in and inspected and didn't do the closing conference, didn't finish the inspection when he came because he had to interview witnesses and
Sure.
the injured.
You still
and
got a
they-
lot of
and they weren't
follow-up.
there. But he,
I mean, it makes sense.
he took, I think, over 6 months to wrap up the inspection itself.
Oh my.
And I didn't want to piss this guy off.
Right. I mean,
And
it's
like
still
call
OSHA.
him every now and then because they hired me to fix this. You know?
Right. Yeah. Help us get
So-
rid of this. Help us abate it. Help us get it cleaned up.
I didn't want to anger him, so I would only call him like once a month and be like, "Hey, do you think we could actually close the inspection
Right.
so we could actually start the time ticking to receive a citation, if we're going to get one in?" "Oh, well, I have too many more important cases in front of me and I just can't get to yours. Sorry, bud." That's what he would tell me and stuff
Oh
like that.
man.
Yeah.
And yeah, so I mean, we learned some new things with that one. For one, that OSHA can technically, if they want, they can continue investigating until they have determined the cause of the incident.
There's no length of the investigation.
Yeah.
There's that 6-month window after the inspection stop where they have to cite you. Some people interpret that it's just a 6-month window from the time they first inspect till when they have to cite you, but it's super not clear.
No,
we
not
dug
at all.
into the weeds on
It's
that. and-
very
yeah. So anyway, machine guarding was what they got cited on, and the
Yeah.
sucky thing, and I've seen this a couple times. I'm thinking about 2 different incidents right now
Mm-hmm.
where there was an injury and a citation on machine guarding, and it was installed exactly to manufacturer specs.
I think I know one of them for sure that you're talking
It's
about.
both the same place.
Yep.
So one of them was an amputation, and this
Mhm.
other one was a whole arm getting sucked in.
Yep. That was the second one.
But both of them were machine guarded to specs. Like,
yeah, the way that it was.
it
made.
wasn't an evil employer that ripped all the guarding off to
Right.
make things go faster. No,
Or
it-
lazy
they
employees.
did
were
not
sick of.
modify equipment. But injuries happened, and they got busted on machine guarding when they weren't the manufacturers, and they didn't take guards off.
Right.
So that's always been a takeaway for me. Like, do machine guarding evaluations.
Yep.
do not trust that because you bought it and had it installed from the manufacturer and you've never modified it, that it means it's safe or OSHA proof.
Yep.
So if you were doing one, AJ, if you were doing a machine guarding evaluation, let's just say a big machine with some conveyors, like what would you machine guard evaluation? What are you gonna be looking for? What should we be looking for if you were educating us on how to do a machine guarding evaluation?
I actually follow the OSHA reg on this one because, in my opinion, they broke it down.
OSHA has regs on this?
Oh my gosh, they totally do. But they broke it down pretty easy to follow, in my opinion. You start with your power sources. So you're looking for, what do you got coming in? Do you have electrical? Do you got airlines? You got whatever? And are your power sources guarded? And then they go to your power transmission apparatus. So
you're talking way over my head.
Any moving parts.
We need to back up here. What was the first one?
Power source.
So how is it?
So like if you got a big, 220 line or a 480 line going into a machine, is there any bare copper or wire or anything hanging out?
All right.
Are your power sources guarded?
All right.
Or like if it goes into like an electrical box or something, is that box just open and somebody can stick their finger into stuff? Or
live,
is it,
unguarded electrical parts.
So you got your
technically guarding.
Yes.
Okay.
So you got your power source.
Power source guarded.
And then the next step is power transmission. So you're looking for moving parts.
Okay.
Is there electric motors? Are there little, flywheels? Are there belts and pulleys, chain sprockets?
Okay.
All sorts of stuff, but anything that could move anything.
All right.
And could the employee touch that moving part?
I gotcha.
Right.
Makes sense.
And then now you start getting to like the weird ones, like included in moving parts. You're looking for any rotational parts, any in-running nip points, anything that looks like it could suck somebody in. But basically, again, you're in that whole idea of, does it move and can I touch it?
Okay. And then there's the most important thing to guard.
Oh, these guns. You guys can't see it. I'm flexing.
What?
We're still in asking.
Again. What's the most important part of a machine to guard?
Well, I mean, point of operation.
Very good.
But
that's what I was looking for.
I feel like point of operation is covered by your moving parts.
Yeah, it is, definitely.
But point of operation, yes, that's definitely like where the work is being performed on whatever it is that you're working.
And I think that's what OSHA beelines for.
They love point of operation.
Point of operation guarding. It's a big deal. So guards themselves. Now, can I fabricate my own guards?
That's good, Jay.
Yeah,
you totally can. You can make your own guards.
But I recall from
Make 'em at
teaching
home.
every single subject we teach, there's always a line in there that says you cannot modify this without written permission from the manufacturer. Are we held to that standard when it comes to machine guarding fabrication?
So that line, as far as I know it, and so we're really digging into AJ's poor brain here today. As far as I know it, that line is written 3 different ways, 3 different times. The one you're talking about, that I think you're talking about, is the one where it comes up for forklift, scissor lift, boom lift, heavy equipment.
For sure.
But that one is specific because
even like an electric cord.
Well, that's the second one.
Okay.
So the first one is, does a modification that affects capacity or safe operation?
Okay.
So that's that one. Does it change its capacity or its use? Right? And that's specifically for like equipment that you operate.
Okay.
The second one is anytime you are doing modifications as a repair, that repair must meet the manufacturer's standards. So it must be as good as or better than the way it came from the manufacturer.
All right.
And then the third one for machine guarding, it just basically is like, yes, if you're going to install machine guards, and then it has this huge list, and you're going to have to help me with the list because I know you can remember some of those slides as they go by in our brains. But it says things like machine guards must be secured. It cannot interfere with operation. It can't slow down production.
Well, not production. We can't slow down escape, like egress during emergency. Can't create new hazards.
No, one of them actually says it can't interfere with operation. Like it can't actually make operations slower.
I mean, that's just.
But
Did you get that guarded, Pete? Yeah, but now the machine don't run.
Yeah, so that one is in its right. Exactly. It's so safe you can't even turn it on. Thanks, Pete. I mean, that's the safest machine ever.
You're supposed to guard it, and it runs. Oh, you didn't tell me that.
Yeah, remember how we had that discussion last week about how to survive a gunfight? Don't be in one. How do you survive operating a machine? Don't operate a machine.
Yeah.
Right. So what'd you do? Well, I threw the machine away. It's guarded. Excellent. But yeah,
It's
so you
guarded by the
can.
dumpster that I put it in.
It's got so that's the third one about modifying anything, and that's only in the machine guarding thing. So if you're gonna guard something, like you can, but it can't create new hazards.
Yeah.
It has to protect from falling objects. Like it has all of these things in this list
Right.
of what a guard has to do, and as long as the guard that you're installing, survives that gambit of stuff from OSHA, you can guard yourself.
Which I thought was always very nice and cool of OSHA, that they would actually allow us to fabricate a guard to make something more safe without needing to get permission from the manufacturer.
Oh my gosh, because that would be such a huge. Could
It
you
just,
imagine?
It just wouldn't happen.
No, it would never get done. The
They're not going to
manufacturers
send out an engineer to
Yeah.
to stamp and
they're gonna
rate
be
and verify,
overwhelmed.
and they don't want the liability. They're not going to do it.
Oh, the insurance implications alone would be tremendous.
What kind of materials have you seen in-house maintenance people fab up their own guards with?
Three main materials off the top of my head. I always see the same three things. Well, I mean, I'm sure there's more, but the things I see is one is expanded metal.
Yep,
I see
for
expanded
sure.
metal everywhere.
Is there regs on that?
Maybe.
Yes.
Yeah, I see plexiglass. I see plexiglass guards all over, and then I just see sheet metal guards. Some people are
Yeah,
like, you
for
know what?
sure.
We don't even have to get in there to service this rotating wheel or whatever, except for once a month. We're just gonna, pop rivet sheet metal over
Do you know
this.
what Del Rod is?
No, not familiar.
It's plastic, but it's bendable, malleable. I've seen a lot of Del Rod guards,
Okay.
especially in food manufacturing plants. But it's plastic. It's just type plastic.
Oh, cool.
So
It's like that, like what I would call, if I saw it, I'd probably call it a plexiglass.
well, it's white. You can't see through it.
Oh,
Yeah.
I don't know what that stuff is. Okay, cool. Delrod.
Yeah, Del Rod.
Sounds like a place.
Yeah, it's cool stuff, man.
You ever been over to Delrod?
I've even seen them take make a bar out of Del Rod to attach to a spatula to make it a super long handled one, so they don't have to get their hands into near the moving parts when they have to scrape something.
Okay, I
To
know.
make like
I've
a long-
seen that. I've seen the
Yeah.
thing you're talking about.
Yeah, so a long white piece of plastic.
Okay.
know. But
Del
then they
Rod.
can make a sheet out of it. And
Sure.
and then they could somehow like bend it so they can make right angles out of it and stuff like that.
Cool.
Yeah.
Makes for a good guard.
Yeah, I've seen some pretty cool maintenance guards before, maintenance in-house made. I don't like the word homemade because they didn't make it at home.
Right. We
You
still say
know?
homemade, but it's not like they were
No,
like.
it's internally
"Take this Del Rod
fabricated
home."
by professionals. So yeah, expanded metal. There is regs on that, on the size of the like diamonds.
Okay. I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
I mean, to me, that's in the whole idea of how much coverage is it. But I thought you were going to be specific and be like, it must be made out of, such and such strength or like type of material.
No, I think
But
there's
you
a
meant
reg on
The
on-
size of the gaps, because
Yeah,
it can't be
yeah.
like chain. It can't be like chain link fence size,
Yeah, no, because
right? Because you can stick your hands in through it and touch the. moving
that's
parts on the
actually
other
what
side.
happened in this last case. There was metal. I don't even know what you call it. It wasn't expanded metal, but it had squares. A bunch
Okay.
of squares. But the squares were so big, you could,
You could force your hand through it.
yeah. And so OSHA was like, "That's not doing nothing."
Right. Yeah. they
We're
stuck
like,
their
"But
armor
that's
through
from
it."
the manufacturer. We didn't modify that. We didn't put that on."
Oh, geez, weird.
And so they're like, "Well, we don't care. It doesn't meet OSHA specs. It's more than a half inch or whatever."
Yep.
So,
They make a super handy thing now. Do you remember the name of the?
I
Dun,
do.
dun, 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 dun. Ask Aaron.
Okay, so what's the
Could
name
I
of
take Gotcha Stick for 1,000?
yeah.
AJ,
Do I see gotcha stick?
have you seen the new dude who replaced Alex Trebek?
No, I have.
It's weird.
Isn't it the football guy?
I
Isn't
don't
it
know
some
who he
football
is,
player?
but I was just flipping channels and there was not Alex, and so I watched it for about 5 seconds and I go, "It's not Alex," and I turned it.
I know it's a football guy, but
Okay,
yeah.
but he's like the smart sounding dude as well, and it's all professional and proper and stuff. He's trying to be like Alex.
Was it
Yeah.
Mayim Bialik?
I don't know. Show me a picture.
There's no picture.
Oh, but yeah. Side note.
Shoot.
We should do another podcast on game show hosts. Do you remember? I got a couple years on you, but when I was a little kid, Alex actually had a different game show as well.
He was doing 2?
Yes.
He was double dipping.
It might have been doing 3,
Trebek.
but this game show where it was, I forget what they're called, but it's where images make a sentence.
Okay.
So, like, if you have an I, and then a heart, and then a U, I love you.
I love you. Okay.
But that's I forget what that's called. But it was so hard. It was the hardest game show. And then, granted, I was a little kid, but I was like trying to solve those puzzles. But yeah, you had to guess the sentence of the images.
Crazy. And
Yeah.
Trebek was doing that one.
Yeah,
huh?
he was the host.
Oh, cool.
I liked the show because it was like mind challenging.
I really miss Louis Anderson doing Family Feud.
Okay.
Man, Louis, he was hilarious. He had a cartoon. He did Family Feud. I just love Louis Anderson. His comedy was just too much.
I think we're digressing a little far.
I mean, a
but
bit.
Yeah. All right. So, how do we even get on Alex? Oh, because I answered you in the form of a question.
and
Well,
then we
no, I
started-
actually didn't answer it in the form of a question.
You just said you'd take it
I did
as
it
a
like
topic,
Yeah.
right?
Okay.
And then I answered you as if we were on Family Feud.
Okay. All right. So, was I right? Is it called a gotcha stick?
It's called a gotcha stick.
Yeah, we have one over there.
Full
on the
circle.
shelf.
See, people, we actually know what we're doing.
I've never used one.
I haven't used one either.
and that
I've
would-
seen people
That
use
should
them.
surprise the safety guy. You're a safety guy. You've never used a gotcha stick.
I don't need one. No, actually, it's
I
probably not
use my finger,
It's got me. This has been properly guarded.
which I do not, but I have seen it done.
Yeah.
Have you?
Yeah, I've watched people be like, "Oh yeah, I could touch it," and then reach over and proceed to almost touch it, and I'm like, "No, don't do that, don't do that."
I was doing
bad idea.
machine guarding evaluation one time, and they were installing a new line in this plant,
Gotcha.
and the installers were there.
Okay.
And there was this new conveyor we'd never seen before. It's brand new equipment. We don't know anything about it. We don't know the hazards or anything.
Okay.
And I was looking at it and totally have access to these rolling parts to it.
Oh my.
And I'm wondering if it's going to... It wouldn't make an in-running nip point because they weren't rolling together. They were all rolling in the same direction.
Oh, I
But-
know what you're talking
But
about.
it still could take you in. And I just asked the guy. And I learned a lesson. Like, just don't ask someone, like, when they're close to it. Because you don't know what they're going to do. I said, would that hurt you if you got... Would that catch you and grab you and pull you in? Would that hurt you if you
stuck
touch
your
it?
fingers in it.
And he goes, I don't know. And he stuck his hand in it. And it rolled his hand in and just kept rolling. And he was totally fine. And he goes, nope.
Nope.
And I was like, jaw drop. Like,
I think that guy
like-
was playing with you because I think they actually knew that the back roller stops. Like, it,
well,
it won't
he's a
continue
good
to-
actor because he didn't crack a smile or a joke.
He was like,
just
nope.
no, it doesn't.
So funny.
Like, I would have hammed it up.
Would that get
and
you?
then I would have acted like I was hurt if I was going to play with someone. I'd be
Right.
like, I don't know. Let me check. Why, Dad, help me. Why did you make me do this? And then when they're all freaking out and running around, I'd be like, just kidding.
Just kidding. Nope, didn't get me. I think he was probably messing with you a little.
But gotcha sticks is a cool tool that you could see if employees have access. Like,
Right.
You try to put it through the guard and see if the guard is A, small enough gap so they can't touch the moving
Right.
parts, or B, installed far enough away so it prevents you
Right.
from touching the moving parts.
Because the gotcha stick actually, for those of you who've never seen one, it starts off tapered to almost a point, and that comes back a few inches, and then it gets a little wider, and that wider section comes back a few inches, and it just gradually does that. And so then that's how you can measure distances and reach and see if you can reach through
Safely.
something. Yeah, without having to stick your own arm or your own finger in there. You can just,
I've used pencils and stuff.
right.
Yeah.
I mean, it works. It works pretty well.
Yeah. All right. So, jun.
Ask me anything.
That was the wrong theme. I don't know what that one was, but
Ask me
It made me think like back to the olden days. Like I thought we were going to be watching an episode of like,
dun 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 dun.
Yeah, exactly.
Dun, dun. No, I got to get like a cool, real death metal guitar riff. All right. So,
Okay.
AJ,
user.
name types of guards.
Oh man, there's a mountain of types of guards. Why are you making me do
Name
all the work?
3.
Okay. All right, I'll name 3 guards. I'll name 3 common guards.
3 types.
You have
of guards.
gates.
Okay.
You have interlock guards.
Okay.
And then, let's do a creative one. You can guard by location and distance.
Yes, that's good.
Right? I mean, there's a lot.
What's the most common one?
I think just a fixed guard. is
Fixed
probably the
guard.
most- probably the
guard.
most common.
Yeah. All right. Ding, 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 ding. We have a winner, Mr. AJ.
You guys can't see it, but I've just been handed a large bag of money, a tiara, and a lot of flowers. I'll be leaving now.
But you answered one question wrong on the last episode.
Oh, there goes my money. My money. Oh, at least I still have these beautiful flowers.
So, fixed guard. What is a fixed guard?
I mean, a fixed guard is supposed to be, while it's in place, it's secure and affixed, and it prevents contact from whatever hazard it's, guarding the employee from.
Okay. Can I take it off and the machine still runs?
I mean, you can.
Yes. And that's the problem with them.
Right.
Because you're doing maintenance. Say you were, say the fixed guard was protecting you from a pulley.
Okay.
And a belt.
Right.
And the belt busted.
Well, I got to replace that belt.
So you follow the machine-specific lockout tagout procedure.
Ooh.
It's all locked out, tagged out, tested out. Everything's good.
Look
You
how good
notified
I did.
everybody. Blah blah blah. Not a lockout tagout class. And then it's safe. And then you take that fixed guard off. You replace the belt, but you don't put that guard back on.
So then I just
And then
undo
you
my locks, tags,
turn
flick
it
back
on. Machine runs fine.
Cool. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
It's
a
running
fixed
great.
guard for you.
Yep. All the time.
All right. Well, how is that different then than an interlocked guard?
Oh, I was gonna tell a terrible story. I literally
for it.
I watched it just recently. A guy replacing a belt and pulley on a machine, and instead of it's a huge pain to properly tension these pulleys, these
Okay.
belts, or sorry, tension the
right.
belt.
Makes sense.
And so the guys, they do not want to do the lockout tag. I'll shut everything down and then undo the tensioner and then
Right.
release that wheel so that the pulleys come closer together. They can put the belt on and then have to re-tension it because they have to stick a pry bar. There's a special attachment where you put this pry bar, put tension back on it, and then you have to tighten it while it's got tension, right?
Right.
So what they want to do is leave the machine on
Right.
and then put the pulley or put the belt on the small pulley, and then on the large pulley that's delivering power, while it's running, they slide one hand over it and actually press it and use that rotational force to suck the belt all the way around it.
Okay.
And they put it on while it's running. And I was like, you ever gotten your hand caught in there or anything? Well, every now and then if I'm wearing gloves because it's cold, it'll pull a glove off. I'm like, and you're like, you're not worried about that at all? Well, it's such a huge pain to turn it off and
Yeah.
then tension it. And I was just like, oh, man. So it turned into quite a lecture. It was he didn't have a good day.
But nobody got their finger ripped off yet.
This time,
That's good.
you do that enough, though, and you're going to get lax and lose a thumb. And
Yeah.
there's a tremendous amount of tension in there.
So they removed the fixed guard.
Yeah, took the fixed guard right off.
Now let's move on to interlock guard.
Interlock guard.
What is an interlock guard?
All right, Aaron, we'll play Ask Aaron.
You can't ask me about a question back.
Well, I was going to ask you, what are some common interlock guards in the home?
Okay. So microwave, dryer, furnace.
And why are they interlock guards?
Now you're making me ask the question I asked you.
Oh, wait, you asked me that? All right, I'll tell everybody what it is. If you asked me that one, sorry, I missed it. But interlock guard is something that prevents operation when the guard has been opened.
So it's kind of like a circuit.
Yeah.
And if you open the circuit,
It's supposed to,
kill the machine.
yeah, turn it off so it can't run. So things like, your dishwasher, your dryer, your microwave, furnace, you open the door, you're not getting blasted with microwave radiation.
Yeah, which is good.
Well,
So
I don't want to get
It
blasted with
kills
microwave
the
radiation.
machine when you take off the guard, open the guard.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of industrial machines like that. If you were to try to take that guard off, boom, open that gate, open that door, boom.
Kill that machine,
Dies.
cut off power.
If the brakes are working right, I've seen them not work right. You open the door, still the thing still spins for 7 seconds or something.
Or it's also one of the super easiest ones to bypass because it's like not always, but a lot of the times it's like a toggle switch.
Okay.
You open the door, and all you got to do is reach up and push that button where the door was holding it,
Right.
and now it's on. And then a lot of employees will tape that shut,
Right.
or they'll wedge something in there, and then you don't even need a door. You open the door, big whoop, the machine's still on.
Even on the more advanced ones, it's like a key.
Well, those are super cool.
So yeah, when the door shuts, there's like a key on the door, and then it goes into like the keyhole. But I've seen them break that off, shove it in to the keyhole,
So that it thinks it's always registered.
yeah, so that you could open that door at will, and it never kills
Man.
it.
There is
I saw
a
an
myriad of
amputation
ways.
that way.
Ugh.
3 fingers.
Oh,
First OSHA case that ever worked.
that's rough.
Yeah. 3-finger
So they
amputation.
snap the key off so that they can still open the door and open the gate, but have it technically unlocked but the key head is still in there.
Yeah.
So the guard thinks that the
Well,
circuits.
not the guard. I mean,
Well, yeah, the interlock guard.
okay,
It still
yeah,
thinks.
the circuit seems closed,
Yeah.
so the machine will run. And they were
Jeez.
cleaning, and while they were cleaning, they would bump it to advance it
Yep.
while they're cleaning with the rag, and the rag got sucked in. They didn't let go of the rag,
Woo-hoo.
and there was a cutting wheel in there,
Ooh.
and it zipped off a
Oof.
few fingers.
Big oof.
Yeah, first OSHA case.
That's rough.
Yeah.
So those are the. Okay, so that brings us to the next part. Aaron, when are we required to do lockout tagout?
Whenever you eat pizza.
Oh, snap. I have not been doing enough lockout tagout.
I mean, there's ways to argue this and say it more fancy,
Okay.
but I would say a general oversimplification is when you're maintaining machines to the point where you have access to the moving parts because you got to bypass the guards.
I thought you weren't going to say it fancy.
That's not the fancy way. Like if you have access to moving parts, if you got to bypass guards, you need to lock and tag it out. If there's a threat to
That's the one I was looking for, was just bypassing guards.
yeah, but there's all that stuff like if it's routine and if it's then you don't have to.
Man, I don't know. I've really read through those regs, and I feel like OSHA there's too much double talk in the machine guarding reg, because they'll be like, if it's routine maintenance, you don't have to lock and tag it out. But even if it's something as simple as a routine tool change, you do have to lock and tag it out.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh my gosh.
Well, that's called job security.
Like, it's first they're like, no, you can't, and then like, well, you can, but also you can't.
Right.
And I'm like, so I basically, for me, it's always like, if you got to service or maintenance a machine, or if you bypass a guard, because
All right.
those loopholes, I mean, they're tricky regardless.
Speaking of oversimplification, I could do a machine guarding podcast in 5 seconds.
All right, hang
Tell
on.
everything everybody ever needs to know about machine guarding in 5 seconds.
Hold on.
And
All right.
we're at 36 minutes so far. I could be as effective as 36 minutes in 5 seconds.
All right, I'm going to give you a countdown. Are you ready?
Okay, go. All moving parts that can cause harm must be safeguarded.
Well, that was exactly 5 seconds. That was exactly 5 seconds.
Boom.
So all moving parts that must be, or that can cause harm, must be guarded.
Yeah, and I didn't write that. That's from OSHA.
Yeah, I mean, it's true. But yeah, I mean, really,
But
it doesn't have to be moving
it
parts.
sums it up. But I've also seen moving parts that employees have access to that are not guarded because they can't cause harm.
I would believe it. I can't say I've seen it, but I would believe it.
I've tested it. I was on this machine. I wasn't super familiar with it. There's this wheel on the outside of it spinning.
Oh, yeah, I was talking about.
And I'm like,
We've been talking about that place a lot.
what's that? What's the deal with that? And they're like, oh, that can't hurt you. I'm like, spinning pretty fast. And they're like, nah, as soon as you touch it, like, it stops. Like, it's not going to keep going and wrap you up.
It's on an overdrive pulley.
And so, the guy went up and hit it, and sure enough, it stopped.
It just stops. That's the same place with the crazy conveyor where, like, all those little rotating parts are all rotating together in the same direction. If you walk over and stick your hand in there, nothing happens.
Yeah,
So moving parts, but no danger.
yeah.
Electricity,
I got
though.
another story.
Electricity is
from that place.
not a moving part that must be guarded if it's live.
It's technically moving, isn't it?
Well, yeah, but the part isn't moving.
Okay,
The electricity's
I got you.
moving.
Yeah. I have another story
Okay.
about that place.
We've been talking about that a lot.
It has to do with robots.
Oh, yeah, I remember this one. It's neat, though.
So it was technically a job hazard analysis,
Right.
but as a part of that, I'm doing machine guarding evaluation.
Well, it is a machine,
Yeah. So, it was a machine working on a machine.
right?
It was replacing a human working on a line.
Picking up stuff, moving stuff.
Yeah, because cumulative trauma issues are real, ergonomic issues are real. Let's get a robot in there. Okay, a lot of places are going to robots.
Well, yeah.
So you change out a part on a robot, but it's hard to change out a wrist on a person.
Right.
So, but this robot has to work alongside a human.
Right. There's people still there.
Yeah, and it's technically a moving part.
Yeah,
it's an
it's a big
arm.
machine.
It's pretty fast too.
Dude, it is strong.
And I'm looking at the thing, and I'm like, that looks like Hazard City.
Right.
And then engineers like, oh no,
Right.
no, if that touches you, it has this. He said it appropriately and with intelligence. I can't duplicate it.
Okay.
But he was like, he was explaining the mechanisms inside that when it receives some kind of resistance, it would automatically like go limp or loose and wouldn't continue the motion.
Okay. So, yeah, if it encounters anything along its path of travel, it's just going to stop.
Yeah.
Like, that's
So
it.
if it hits a human,
mas.
it'll touch them, but it'll automatically stop its force.
Okay. And then what happened?
And so I'm like, that's cool. Can I get in the fight with it? I didn't say that. I said a professional.
Right.
I was like, well, you hired
May
me
I
to do
engage it in combat?
a job hazard analysis. Can I go wrestle with it? But I said a professional, and they were like, sure. So, you know, if you look at my arms right now, I'm bruised up, man, from blocking head kicks.
Right.
I had a really awesome kickboxing match Saturday.
Nice.
It's a good kickboxer, and it was a blast. But blocking them head kicks, I'm bruised up, you know. But
Right,
my
yeah.
body's pretty conditioned to taking a pretty hard shot.
Okay.
So I felt it was probably safe listening to that guy's scientific.
Okay. If it swings
engineering.
at you.
Yeah, but I wanted to test it, and
Sure.
it wasn't. Granted, it wasn't the safest way to test it with my actual flesh,
No, not a good way to
but
do
I
that.
felt like it. I was just in that mood, you know, like let me go fight this
Risking my
robot
life today.
in order to prevent injuries of others. See, you know, I could spin it. But anyway, that's what happened. Disagree with it or not? Yes, there are safer ways to do it. I could have used a broomstick, but
So you got in the cage. With
no,
the
it's
thing.
no cage.
No cage for the thing.
It's not
just
a
out
caged
there, just
robot.
working.
It's just on the line. Zip, zip, zip,
So
zip.
you went over to the thing.
Yeah, and I stood where a worker would stand, and then I stuck my arm in the path of it, and I let it hit me,
Yeah.
and it did shut down. But I definitely felt it.
Okay.
I don't know how many pounds of pressure, but it was a good strike.
Okay.
Like no visual damage on me.
So it
Wasn't-
didn't bruise you, but
Wasn't even bruised.
but for sure, like it was like a good bonk.
So my professional suggestion was they still should guard it up, because I'm like, that was a strategic part of my body that I willingly placed in there on an area that I've conditioned.
Yeah. What if instead it was like a head or a face?
Exactly. So, but all the experts and the salesmen's like, oh, it's the safety guy. You know?
Sure. Well, for sure.
Yeah,
They
you know.
don't want to look bad.
Them,
We just installed the safest piece of equipment out there.
them
Ouch!
evil
Yeah,
safety
he lied.
guys. They're always worst case scenario. They're always gloom and doom and
Well, yeah.
what ifs, and so they listen to those guys. But then one day, sometime later, a female worker was working next to this robot, and it couldn't take it any longer. It decided to strike against its human counterpart. The lady had somehow put her face in the path of
Oh
it.
snap!
Yeah, I don't know if she was looking down at something, but she got in the path, and that thing, boom, hit her in the face, chipped her tooth.
Chipped her tooth.
Chipped her tooth.
Holy smokes! So
Yeah.
it just clocked her a good one.
Yeah.
Jeez.
So
Did they have to send it to robot anger management?
No, I think it got off with the pass. You know, the robots
What?
always get away with it.
Man.
Yeah.
You could have
It-
at least gotten robot suspension.
No HR was involved.
Well, you got to call robot HR.
No.
Why'd you strike your
they
human
don't even care.
overlords?
They were like, I understand why you smacked her. They just didn't even care.
Oh man.
So, you know, even though some of these things have the safety features built in, doesn't mean that it still can't cause harm.
For sure. Well, heck yeah, and you can't just trust the manufacturer if that's just how it showed up. That doesn't mean it's
Never
safe.
trust the manufacturer.
That doesn't make it safe.
Never trust the salesman.
No.
It's the safest thing in the world. And, you know, take a cantaloupe to it. Let it hit a cantaloupe or a watermelon.
There you go.
You know, when I was in nursing school way back in the day, it was right when they made us quit practicing IVs on each other. If I had got in nursing school just a little bit before that, I would have been stabbing needles into my
Your coworker,
fellow
I mean,
students'
man.
veins, and they would have been shoving needles into mine.
Ugh.
Too many issues.
Yeah.
So then they started making us do it on like fruit,
Right.
because the fruit has like a skin layer like we
Yeah.
do, that you the
And then like
dermis and everything, that you got to push a little harder. But once you get past that skin, then it's just
You get the squishy inner layer.
yeah, it's just no problem. So then we had to do IVs on fruit.
Still good practice.
Yeah, it was all right.
Not as good as people.
It's not,
Bring me my flash.
because you know
Calm
it's,
down,
it's,
nurses.
it's crazy when you do a couple IVs on a cucumber, and then you got to put one in a real person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
But anyway, you could test that with fruit. Go all Gallagher style on it. Just stick that watermelon on there.
I like it.
Let them smack it. So, all right, what else do we got to say about guards?
I don't know. We said a lot. I think we said a pretty good amount for our first talk about guards.
All right, well, let's
don't remove guards.
Let's end with a jun.
Ask me.
What is the most common machine guarding violation that you see?
That I see? Oh, okay.
You personally.
I was gonna say, was this one of the ones on our? We did that OSHA top, 10.
Yeah.
I was like, was this on there? But what's one of the ones that I
see?
see?
AJ top 10.
It's gonna be grinders without guards on them.
Angle grinders,
Yeah.
handheld angle grind. 100%. 100% agree with you.
I see it everywhere. Actually, I do have to give kudos to one of our clients.
Okay.
I just did a huge walk through their facility.
All right.
And finally, after we'd gone through and seen about a half dozen grinders, we were surprised. Every single one had a guard on it, and we started counting. And by the time we finished inspection, we had almost 30 grinders, all guarded. We didn't find a single unguarded grinder in this fab shop.
That's impressive.
It was insane.
I will have to say that that rule is being more adhered to now than in my whole career.
It's awesome.
I find guards on grinders more often than I don't anymore.
But you still see them all the time without guards.
Yeah, it's still an issue.
Way more than, exploding wheels and stuff getting sucked into the path of travel, and then the grinder itself accidentally catching on stuff and traveling places all by itself. Huge, insane hazards that could be corrected by guards.
So, I have seen in Iowa several on multiple different clients, multiple different industries, the same violation keep hitting them.
What's that?
It's a machine guarding violation on drill presses.
My favorite one.
No chuck guard.
No chuck guard. Point of operation.
Now,
it's an installed mounted machine with a point of operation, not guarded.
But what's weird to me is it's like all of a sudden.
Yeah.
I've been fighting OSHA for our clients for umpteen years. 5 years at this job, 10 years at another job.
Yep.
And all of a sudden in the last 3 in Iowa.
Now they're really hammering on it.
They used to beeline for the bench grinders.
Well, yeah, nobody
look at the guards and the rest and make sure they're all adjusted to the right distances and all that. But now chuck guard, drill press. I'm like, what is going on?
Yep. Wherever they're walking
and
around.
when I'm doing my own walkthrough, and I pointed out, oh, you got a drill press over there. You use that? Yep. You should put a chuck guard on it. What? A chuck guard? I always get resistance.
Yeah, it's like you're speaking a new language to them, or telling them that they are violated the world's most heinous law.
Yeah, and I'm like, hey, whatever. I'm just OSHA's busting for it right now.
Right.
So if
they take it like a personal insult. It is rough.
If you don't want to get busted for it, put a chuck guard on it.
Yeah.
Well, it didn't come with one. I don't care.
Okay.
You could buy 20 different versions.
They've got a new one out that I absolutely love that I tell all of my clients to buy that just mounts right there to the main arm, the support shaft, and then it just pivots out. Super user friendly for your employees because they can just kick it out of the way when then they got to change stuff or work on their stuff or adjust anything.
Right.
And then when they need to use it, it just swings right in place. It's slick. There's no stupid accordion thing to break and snap and not. Oh, I hate those things.
Yeah.
So it's awesome. Super user friendly. Super cheap. They're $50. They're great.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm all on board with them.
All right. Well, that does it for our podcast on machine guarding. AJ Hanscom and myself, Mr. Pete Walker Doodleman.
Aaron Isino.
Aaron Ice, that's it.
Pete Walker Doodleman. I'll be diggered.
We together are the Evil Safety Dudes. And we hope you got something out today that'll help you.
They did.
Or to keep your employees safe.
Keep them safe.
And keep you not busted. And keep you not sucked into machines. Machines always win.
Not busted by OSHA. Not busted by machines.
And that's all we got for you today. Until next time, everybody, stay safe.